Hello, Lose Weight with Macros family. Welcome to a brand new episode. Today, we are doing a mindset focused episode to help you if you're a successful businesswoman. And no matter how successful you are, there are still going to be fears that you and I still have. And we're tapping it into the fear, how to overcome your fear of eating carbs and lose weight. Now, if this is for you or you know a sister friend that will also love this show, don't forget to share it with her because this will be exactly what she needs to hear. But for now, friends, let's get into it. Hey friend, welcome to Lose Weight with Macros, the basics podcast show with me, your host Verona. If you're somebody who's overwhelmed by all of the conflicting information out there, you're confused about how much protein you should be eating, how to count macros, you don't have time to figure out your macros, and you're sick and tired of repeating the same old boring meals because it is exhausting, you are in the right place. This Lose Weight with Macros basics podcast is specifically for you. You're the woman who wants to learn how to track your macros and do it sustainably, do it in a way that you can enjoy your foods and you don't have to cut out your favorite foods, and we're not here for that. So my friends, if this is you, grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your water, grab your matcha, your notepad and pen, because today's episode is going to be a juicy one. So buckle up, friends, let's get it. Okay, friends, today we are talking about how to overcome your fear of eating carbs and lose weight. If you're new here, friends, welcome to the show. My name is Verona and I'm a behavior change nutrition coach, and I help you change your mindsets. I literally change women's lives when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to their mindset, and when it comes to believing the lies about nutrition that we have carried with us for years. It's a passion of mine and it's a personal experience of mine that I have undergone for many years. Now I'm in a position to change women's lives. Literally, I love what I do. I've been a mindset coach. I've been a coach to help children, young people and their families, especially troubled children, young people and their families, to change and get to the root causes of why they are the way they are. And then they're working on changing those behaviors and habits. It took time. It was hard work, but it was the most rewarding when I saw the incredible change, not just in the young people, but the families' lives and all those who are around them. So my friends, I am well versed in coaching people, coaching clients, and changing people's lives. Now, I don't say that to brag. I say that because I'm passionate about what I do and the space that God has allowed me to teach in. Now, recently, I was talking on an episode, and I feel like I went into a little bit of a rant. Now, when you're passionate about your subjects that you teach, you tend to get passionate and you hear it. And one of the things that I am passionate about is myths about food, myths about diets, myths about weight loss. And oftentimes, one of the biggest misconceptions about weight loss is carbohydrates. Now, you've got the keto industry that has boomed on the supplements that taste horrid to get people to think that carbohydrates are fat. Nowhere in their marketing, nowhere in their testimonials do they tell you that as a female, your urine that smells so foul and your BO that you can get, oh my goodness, they don't tell you that's the byproduct of your body trying to do something that it was not naturally designed to do. Now, from the 1920s, the ketogenic diet was introduced to help children with epilepsy and people with neurological conditions. Now, from 1920 to 2022 and 2023 and beyond, science has shown and research has shown that is still an effective medicinal care for those people who are struggling with that. Therefore, it should never be used as a fear-mongering tactic to get people to think that carbohydrates are the problem and the issue to causing fat gain. Well, when it comes to our bodies, what causes fat and our bodies to actually store it is when we're eating too much food. If you're somebody who struggles with portion control, then you're in the right place. Hello, I can put both hands up and say I struggle with portion control myself. Now, as a mindset coach, one of the things that we do deal with in behavior change nutrition coaching is those mindsets and those thought patterns. Now, that's why my coaching isn't for everybody, because we're dealing with deep things. Now, this isn't counseling, this isn't therapy. However, although I am qualified and I'm certified to counsel and offer counseling and therapy practices, I am not your therapist. And so that's important to note when you start with your behavior change nutrition coaching with me. From the get-go, the application is asking types of questions that some of you may find downright uncomfortable. One question on the application is, why now? Why is now the time for you to make this change? And some of you might have answered, because. Now, that doesn't really tell me what I need to hear, and that's not really an answer, but it's the answer that you've given because of the place that you're in. However, that is not an answer that will get you to work with me on a one-to-one. Now, if you're new here or you're a regular, you know that I keep it real and I have no nonsense. When it comes to calling out the things that keep us stuck for far too long, I get really passionate about changing women's lives. I've been called to work with women, Christian women, non-Christian women, to help you fight for the things that matter and the goals that you want. That is never going to change. The passion that I have in that is never going to change. And so when it comes to carbohydrates, this is a common belief that we have, and I had it myself. The more that you tell yourself a lie, the more that you begin to tell yourself a lie, you actually begin to believe that as if it's the truth. You know that it's a lie, but it's presented in a way and it's spoken over yourself so many times that you begin to see it as a truth. Now, if you're somebody who follows the faith of Christians like I do, then you know in the beginning, in the book of Genesis, that's exactly what happened to Eve. Eve was tempted by the serpent. Eve was tempted by the devil, where he said to her, did God really say? And he used a form of Obviously, he used a form of lying. And secondly, he used a form of gaslighting, what is more common in today. Now, gaslighting is something that you tend to call out in somebody. They will actually cause you to question, is that really true? Deep down, you know that it's true, but the way that they spin it, the way that they come across with it, it actually makes you doubt and question. And that is one of the skilled things that they do to use that against you and to turn yourself against you and to believe a lie and paint it in your mind as if it's true. Now, it's a skill that's not used in a good way, obviously. However, they are skilled at it because they are constantly doing that. And in fact, they don't even know who they are themselves. Now, when it comes to carbohydrates, when it comes to fear is a very real thing. No matter who you are, no matter how successful you are, we have all been afraid of something. The other day, I was scared of a spider. The spider was sitting there, not doing a thing to me, but it needed to come out of the office and it needed to come out of the space. I don't do spiders. I don't do flies. I don't do pets. I don't do any of those things because the false evidence appearing real has created a story in my mind that if that thing stays there, it's going to jump on me and it's going to crawl on me. And I cannot bear or think of anything worse. Now, you might not have any arachnophobia and you might be like, what? A spider? Really? I don't know if you've seen any of those videos. Oh my goodness, those huge, like black widow spiders, and they jump. No. Me? No, I would actually faint. I fainted once in my life. Oh, gee, even at the thought of it, when I see those videos, I laugh. But when I see those videos, I literally throw my phone down. My friend, I've got one particular friend, she's got a habit of sending me those things. And I literally throw the phone down and scream as if it literally jumped out. That's how you know that the struggle and the fear is real. And that's the same thing that can happen when it comes to carbohydrates. I recently was an exchange and the person actually shared, carbs scare me. And that got me thinking, and here I am behind the mic sharing a story time. What is it about carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are an innate thing. Carbohydrates are a nutrient that our bodies need in, ironically, large quantities. However, the quantities that we tend to eat in are way too large for our bodies to digest and use and expend as energy. And then when it's gone past this process, we've got all the energy that we can actually use and need effectively and efficiently for that particular day. The excess energy gets stored in our liver and then turns into fat. Now, constant cycles of always doing this, whether it's carbohydrates, fats, proteins, no matter what food type it is, if we constantly repeat this pattern and repeat this pattern and cycle of eating habits over a period of time, and there's 0 to a -0 of movement in our diets over a period of time, these things will develop into fat gain. It's then we believe a lie that is spun out as if it's a truth that carbohydrates make us fat. Now let's read some examples. Sarah is constantly tempting herself with delicious carbs, but she's failing to resist them. She believes she will never have the willpower to resist carbs, so why does she even need to try to resist them? The key to overcoming this type of fear of eating carbs and losing weight is the ability to change your mindset. Hence why I am here. Now, I've opened up 5 spots in December, a maximum of 5 spots. vanutritioncoaching.co.uk is the website to go to. In the right-hand corner, you will see the button that says book your consultation call with me. Once you do that, a pop-up will open up and invite you to answer a question. Yes, it's a deep dive assessment question to understand who you are, what your challenge is, and why you need help, and to determine whether or not you are ready to receive help and embark on this behavior change nutrition coaching journey with me. Once your application is received, you'll get acknowledgement that you've received the application, and there we decide if this is a good fit for you right now. If it isn't, then you would be advised accordingly. Imagine if there was no doubt in your mind any longer that you could actually lose weight, since past fad diets that you've tried have given you a full sense of hope for weight loss. Imagine if you could be unstuck from all of that all or nothing mentality and feel like you need to give up. Imagine if you learnt to actually love the reflection that you saw back looking in the mirror, rather than calling yourself a marshmallow, fat, mum pooch, and all of these negative names. Imagine if you could be able to do that. Well, my friends, that's exactly why I created Focus on the Fat Loss. If you're tired of wasting money on fad diets, quick fixes, and unsustainable results, and being made to eat broccoli, chicken, and rice every day, and they tell you need to cut out carbs after 6 p.m, so when it turns to 6:01 p.m, you're now afraid to eat a morsel of bread or carbs because you're worried that this is going to cause you to gain fat. If you need an approach to fat loss that works and fits into your lifestyle, and you want to heal your self-sabotage relationship with food, Focus on the Fat Loss is a 4-week nutrition and mindset focused group coaching program where you will have access to recipes, educational videos, live Q&As, and access to meet your girl. But I'm also including the workout library. Friends, if this is you, then head on over to the website vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/focus to sign up to join us. Now, let's get back into today's episode. When you're changing your mindset, you need to believe that you can eat carbs without gaining weight. And that may take time if you're somebody who's stuck in this mentality and mindset for a long time. But you're doing so in a way that you are being able to practice it until it becomes a habit. Hence why I'm a behavior change nutrition coach, focusing on building these kind of habits that you can successfully break the negative ones and build positive ones that you know that your body will love. Now let's go to Lucia. Lucia was told by her doctor that she has to drastically cut down on eating carbs if she's going to lose weight. Now Lucia feels sad, frustrated, and anxious, and her doctor's advice seems impossible. Lucia is worried that if she can't control herself around carbs, then her doctor's advice is simply useless. She's tried cutting down on eating carbs before and failed. She knows that she's going to fail again if she tries to cut back on these foods because they are so appealing to her. She's been eating carbs for most of her life, and she thinks that it's impossible to live without them. She feels sad because she loves carbs, and she loves pizza, and she loves pasta, and she loves bread with butter. Who doesn't? She enjoys them. But then Lucia feels frustrated because she tried so many diets in the past, but every single one of those diets have failed her. Now, if you identify with Lucia, then this is where you need to be. Let's do a little testimonial. What I love about Verona's approach is that she cuts through the BS, gives you the clear steps and explanation, and she's so supportive. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lucia. So this is a synopsis of talking about who you are, talking about the struggles that you've had, and identifying the real fear that actually can have when it comes to trying to lose weight because you've so constantly been told carbs are bad. Now, the truth is you don't have to be afraid of carbs. I'm giving you some tips to help you lose weight whilst you enjoy and eat the carbs. Like Lucia found out, my approach is that she cuts through the BS, gives you clear steps and explanations, and she's so supportive. And that's the difference. The diet industry and the diet culture does not give you that. You don't feel supported. You feel like she heard in her doctor's advice. Her doctor did not advise her what to do or why she's doing it. Oftentimes, when you're so addicted to a certain type of food, somebody threatening to come and take that away from you feels like you are literally going to lose everything you've ever had. Instead of focusing on that, it's then partnering with you. And even if you are like Lucia, where your doctor has told you to restrict your carbs, and you're like, Verona, this is the doctor's advice. I need a coach. I know I need coaching. I want to change my behaviors. Even if you do come with that diagnosis, we will work together with that. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to go against your doctor's advice. However, I'm going to make it work in terms of nutrition so that you don't feel like you have to restrict yourself from all foods. And that ties nicely into the first one. The first one is don't deprive yourself of the foods that make you feel good, that you enjoy. If you like sweets, don't ban them entirely. Instead, eat them in ways that you know you've satisfied your sweet tooth, pun intended, and allow yourself to enjoy them guilt-free. Now that word allow there, I don't really like that word allow. Like you've got to give yourself permission to eat. Some people love that term and love that definition. However, I don't like using the word allow yourself. I give myself permission. Some of you actually stand on those words, and I do give myself permission. Eat the food. If you like the food, eat the food. There's no permission given. Eat it. You don't have to give yourself permission, because giving yourself permission is also a mindset that, am I allowed to? Am I allowed to do this? And you still operate in those boundaries of fear. Am I allowed to? And you're questioning, you're doubting, you're seeking appearance and seeking approval from who? Who's put those boundaries on you? Am I allowed to do it? Of course you are. Who are you seeking permission from? Yourself? Why do you need to get permission from yourself to eat something that you enjoy? You don't. If you want to eat it, if you don't want it, don't eat it. That is very simple. And that is something literally why Lucia loves the approach. She cuts through the BS. Her words. Literally, she said the full word, but BS nonsense. Literally, that's what we do. If you like it, eat it. If you don't, then if you're finding yourself you're uncontrollable, then there are other things to do. Focus on what you're having. Are you cutting yourself out from breakfast? Are you overly stressed? Are you not getting enough sleep? These are the things, the causes to your overeating of the sweets and the sugary treats. Fix that, then your likelihood and you're fixing that and you're fixing your mindset and working on your mindset, then the output will likely to change. If you're trying to work on the output and trying to restrict that, you're not getting to the root of the matter. You're not getting to the root cause of why you're going and turning to sweets additionally. And you need to cut out all types of sweets, carbs, and sugar. Why is everybody not doing that? Because that's not the issue. The issue is not sugar. The issue is a byproduct of something else. And the something else is what we cover in behavior change nutrition coaching. The next thing that you're wanting to do is eat a balanced diet. Lots of fruits, lots of veggies, lots of whole grains, and also include some of the simple carbs yourself. If you're somebody who likes those simple carbohydrates and you haven't been advised, like Lucia, by your doctor to cut down on those things, it's not telling you to cut them out automatically. It's not telling you to cut it out altogether. It's telling you to cut them down. So you're reducing the amount, but you're now increasing the amount of fruits and vegetables that you eat and whole grains. Thirdly, get enough sleep. Every night. The reason why you're focusing on your sleep is so that your body can rest and your body can repair itself, so that when you're ready to tackle and address the next day, you've got enough energy to be able to do so and you're not having to rely on copious amounts of coffee. Exercise regularly so that your body has an opportunity to burn off some extra calories from the food intake throughout the day or the night. Now, don't focus on exercise too much by thinking 2 hours of exercise per day, twice a day, 5 days a week, 7 days a week, 6 days a week is going to help me lose fat faster, because unfortunately, it only accounts for 20% of your calorie burn, which is minuscule in comparison to our actual overall goals. Now, if I've completely lost you, don't worry. The key takeaway to this point is exercise is a beneficial thing for our bodies. Cardiovascular is great and fantastic for our heart health, but it isn't the magic key or the magic bullet to losing fat and to repair your relationship with food, especially if you have an unhealthy attachment to different types of food. We're not going to label them as one food. It's food in general. And lastly, as we land on this episode, is to keep track of what you're eating throughout the day. And you're doing this so that you can identify triggers, patterns in your behavior, like those sugar binges that we all have often done once or more in our lives. And if sweets are not your thing, it might be a charcuterie board that's your thing. I absolutely cannot stop eating cheese and ham or crackers. Whatever is your thing, you insert it and you apply it to you. When we're eating something in excess, what is it that we're looking for? And so when you're identifying those patterns and you're figuring out ways to avoid those patterns or to manage and navigate those patterns, then you are in a position to break down those fears of feeling afraid of carbs. What is it that you're actually afraid of? And when I had my CBT coaching, ironically, which is why I actually then became a CBT coach, when I had my own CBT coaching, these are the things that we were dealing with. I got so used to being, and some of you might get so used to being in a habit that we're constantly saying, I'm scared of carbs, carbs scare me. And this is reality. This might actually be your very real reality, not taken away from that. And you might justify reasons. The scales do this, the scales do that. Many of you have had traumatic experiences from another coach who has told you, absolutely, you have to do this. That's not coaching, that's abuse. So when it comes to fear, where does that fear come from? For me, I don't like moths either. Like, I don't like butterflies. Like, I'll get scared of them. And the reason was, a moth was caught in a little container and it was chucked on me whilst I was sleeping. The person who did it thought it was hilarious. It wasn't funny because I almost had a panic attack because of it. So that's where the fear stems from for me. But it might be something completely different for you. But the key point that I'm making here for you to take away is this: identifying where the fear comes from and then dealing with it. That identification and dealing with it will look different from each stage and for each person. And however, it will need to be dealt with. Some of you can deal with it individually. Some of you will need to be dealt with a professional and help and support to be able to do that. Now, why do I distinguish myself from saying this is not therapy? Because it isn't. It isn't therapy. It isn't to go through those deep therapy sessions, but we address those things. Where does that fear come from? In terms of identifying the root cause, so we can then work on the fruit. And that, my friends, is the end of today's episode. You don't have to be afraid of carbs, and these are the 5 tips that I've given you to help you lose weight whilst you're still enjoying and eating carbohydrates. Friends, don't forget to leave a review on iTunes as to how this podcast has helped you, and head over to the survey page. The link is in the show notes below, where you can complete the survey as to how these episodes are helping you, and you can also share your input to say what you'd like to see or hear more of in these episodes. And that, my friends, is a wrap for today. I can't wait to catch you in the next one. Hey friend, you made it to the end of the episode. What was your biggest takeaway from today's episode? Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review over on iTunes. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about today's episode, or you need help, then you can contact me over on Instagram at VA Nutrition Coaching Podcast, or email me support@vanutritioncoaching.co.uk, or you can head over to the Facebook page VA Nutrition Coaching Podcast. It helps us reach even more women who are fed up of dieting, don't know how to lose weight, they're frustrated with following Sally's results and they're not getting any of their own, and they just finally want to shed some pounds and do it in a way that they can sustain and they can enjoy. But my friends, that's a wrap for today's episode. I can't wait to catch you on the next one. Until then, friends, stay healthy, stay blessed, and remember, if you haven't already downloaded your 5 ingredient recipe pack, you can go to the website vanutritioncoaching.co.uk/recipes and download your 5 ingredient recipe pack. Who said healthy eating was boring? See you next time, friend.